Welcome everyone. So in today's class, we are going to learn how to install AWS CLI, that is command line interface, on our Windows machine or the laptop with which I am actually accessing my AWS console, right? So let's begin. So the first thing is that we have to come to this particular URL, which I will also paste in the description section of the video. Okay. Now, since my operating system is Windows, you might be using Mac OS or you might be using Linux. So you have to choose your own option. Since I'm using Windows, I will click on Windows and I will download this particular installer for Windows 64-bit. So I have already downloaded this particular installer, and what I'll do is I will start this install now, right? Accept, keep it as it is, and let's install, right? It will take some time for the install. Till then, let's try to understand what is secret access key and access key ID and how can we configure it in our laptop so that we can access the AWS console through command line. So let's say some of the things like creation of the EC2 instance and other things we do from the AWS console, but some of the commands, for example, if I want to check who are the IAM users, if I want to check what are the S3 buckets through our command line, how we can check. Okay, it's already finished, so I'll click on finish here and we will go to our command prompt, and I am logged in as administrator and I have created a directory AWS under this. So how do I know like is it installed or not? Is like we can do just give AWS command and enter, then it should give us all the options to check, right? Since we are able to get this thing on our console, a command prompt, that means that our AWS CLI install is successful. So let's do AWS command. For example, I want IAM help, and I want to see like who are the users in my AWS account, right? So this video is through AWS CLI. So I have a video already, which is through the UI, that is your GUI of AWS, that is this particular console. Like we didn't configure any secret access key and the access key ID. We just logged into the EC2 instance and we were able to see the IAM users. So in this section of video, I will show you how to configure the secret access key and access key ID so that you can actually do some your own programming if you want to from your own laptop and access the AWS console, right? So let's begin. I am already logged into my AWS console, and since we are talking about access and authorization, we will always be going to IAM, right? And we'll go inside IAM. And I see that there are 3 users. Let's click on that. I have these 3 users. I will click on SID. Why SID? Because I have given SID the administrator access. So if I want to, let's say, access the IAM users in this particular account, I can definitely do that because I have administrator access. Also, just for your knowledge and information, like I have for my own testing, I was doing some testing on SQS. I have given SQS full access, but this SQS full access is also a subset of administrator access. So if I delete that also, it won't matter. But let's concentrate on our access key and secret access key ID generation. And let's go to security credentials, right? And we will come here and we will create access key. So what does access key helps in? It can send programmatic calls to AWS from AWS CLI, tools for PowerShell, SDKs, or direct AWS API calls, right? So let's create that. So I want this access key for command line interface because I want to access the AWS console from my command line of my laptop, right? So I will say yes. It is actually telling us to use AWS Cloud Shell, which we have already done in our previous video training. So if you want to see that, please go through that particular playlist and you will be able to see. And then I will do next, right? I don't need any description. And here it is, the access key and the secret key access ID, right? So what I'll do is I will now copy paste the things in the command prompt with these values. So how do I get these things configured on my command prompt? Let's go here. And since AWS CLI is already installed, we'll do AWS configure. Okay. So see, it is asking me for access key ID. So my access key ID is this. I'll copy it. Then it is asking me for secret access key. Secret access key is copy. Then is this, right? Default region is AP Southeast 1 because I am logged into the Singapore region. I can also check it from here. That is AP Southeast 1 is Singapore. And the next step is default region. We can just press enter. Default output. No need, just enter. And we are good. Now, how do we know that this particular configuration is working? So I will try to get the list of users in my AWS account. Okay. So let's see like what are the users here. We will go to users. I have 3 users. Let's see if we can get these 3 users through command line interface. Okay. So AWS, let's see what is the help for the command. It is very user friendly actually. So AWS IAM help. So I can use create user also. I can use delete also because I have admin permission. I can use get policy, get user, then list groups. Then we have the list users also, this one. So I'm interested on this one, right? So let's do that. AWS IAM list users. And here you go. See, we have our all the details here. Faisal, Shrikant, Sid, right? So this is the way we should configure our access key ID and secret access key. Just a caution that these are your secret credentials. It should not be known to anyone. I will be deleting these particular credentials now. And also, this is not the best method to use, but for your own learning and other things, you can use it. But the best is to use the AWS Cloud Shell, where you don't have to configure these particular access key ID and secret access key, right? So one question which one of the students asked is like, where are these secret access key and access keys ID are stored in on Windows? So if you want to see that, just you have to go inside this particular directory but you will see like there are only hidden files here, which you can only browse through the command. Also you can get, then you can go from here and also just get it from here. So what I'll do is I will go to administrator. I'll go to that directory. So I'm already logged into this directory and I can see these two files which were just updated 4 minutes ago. And this is where I can see the credentials and config. So if I open it, it will give you the details. Default region and default credentials. Sorry, not default credentials, the credentials generated. You see? Okay, so that's all for this particular lecture. Hope you got some value out of it, and I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks and have a great day ahead.